What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Wednesday edition of The Squeeze. I am Tyler Connie, and we're back after our Tuesday off day. We're feeling refreshed. We're feeling good. The Blue Jays won last night, so no reason to be upset. Boy, oh boy. I know I say this at the start of every video, but what a time to be a sports fan. The one thing I will say that is my favorite part about doing these videos and whatnot and the everyday betting is just knowing the storylines of the sports as we've got 4 days left of the NBA regular season until we head into the playoffs. Got about a week left in the NHL. Knowing the storylines and who's doing what and who has done what the entire season, keeping a daily check on these and checking the scores and everything every single day as we head into the playoffs has been the best part. It is like watching a show heading into a season finale. So very excited about that. Got picks for you today. The best Toronto bet series that I've started doing. I've decided I am going to start incorporating that into being official bets as part of the squeeze here. So we're going to do 3 bets here. And then on days that a Toronto team plays, which is going to be plentiful for the next little while, still going to do that separately, so nothing's going to change, but that is going to be part of the record because I feel like, obviously, Toronto is my wheelhouse, and I feel like I can make a whole series essentially just betting Toronto all year. But I'm going to start incorporating those, which is good, and those are available like on YouTube Shorts. Everywhere you find this, you can find that aside from there's no audio version of it. So if you're an audio listener, you can find the best Toronto bet of the day on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Monday, because of that, it was a 2-2 day on Monday. We got the Kraken and the Coyotes over. We got the Jays and the Royals over. We lost on the Miami Marlins. They got shelled. But who cares about Monday? Today is Wednesday. We're going to start in the NHL. Huge matchup tonight. It's the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets. Let me just quickly pull up the NHL standings. This is the game of the night for sure. Calgary lost last night to the Chicago Blackhawks, so they had an opportunity to get into a wild card spot as they are chasing the same they're chasing the Edmonton Oilers. No, they're chasing the Winnipeg Jets that they're playing tonight. A win last night would have tied them with Winnipeg at 89 points. They lost to Chicago, and now they've got a big matchup on the second half of a back-to-back at Winnipeg. I like this game to go under. It's juiced a little bit to the over of 6. I like the under. Okay, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. It's going to be a hard-fought battle. Calgary might be tired, so Winnipeg might be able to score some goals. Granted, on Markstrom, who's got a goals against of 3. But I think the desperation of Calgary is going to sort of overpower that. If anything, it's going to be harder for them to score on Hellebuck, who's 34-24 with a 2.5 GAA and a save percentage of .918. I think this is going to be an extremely hard-fought battle. I think this looks like a 2-1 game. Let's hope for a 1-1 going into overtime, and our bet is 1, and we could just watch this game. I think it's going to be such a hard-fought battle. I think Calgary is going to be tired but desperate, which I think is going to help the defensive end, blocking shots, diving for pucks, that sort of thing. If it hinders them anywhere, I think it hinders them more on offense. But I don't think they're going to give up 4 or 5 goals to someone like Winnipeg tonight. I just don't see it happening after giving up 4 to Chicago last night. I see this as a 4-2 for a push maybe, but more of a 3-1, 2-1 game. So I'm taking the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets to go under 6 in the game of the night in the NHL. Moving to baseball. This line is weird. The Jays and the Royals number is set to 9. 9? Why would it be 9? The Jays so far in this MLB season, there have been 2 runs, 11 runs, 14 runs, and 5 runs. So that's Kansas City. Maybe that's why, right? You look at Toronto, there's been 5, 14, 13, and 5. But on the mound today is Alek Manoah against Zach Greinke. And Manoah had a pretty brutal outing his first time out. Granted, he has an ERA of 13.5. He pitched 3 1/3 innings. He gave up 5 runs. He's their ace, right? That's not going to happen again. Last season, he was 16-7 with a 2.24 ERA, finishes 3rd in the Cy Young voting. He's not giving up 5 runs in 3 innings, and he's probably not doing it against the Kansas City Royals. And then you look at Zach Greinke. His splits last year are very, very telling. Overall, he didn't have a great season. On the road, he had a 5.32 ERA. At home last season, Zach Greinke had a 1.91 ERA. We rode that bet all the time if you followed the old newsletter. I was always betting against Zach Greinke on the road and on the Kansas City Royals and Zach Greinke at home. I can't imagine we see a barn burner. Manoah's looking to get back into the groove. Zach Greinke's been great at home for the Royals. The Jays' offense is still sputtering a little bit. They've had shown glimpses of breaking out, but I don't think it's going to be against Greinke here tonight, and 9 runs is a lot. Plus, we get the push potential if it's 5-4, 6-3, but for this to be, a 6-5 game, another one of those, I just don't feel that being the case. The weather is not supposed to be great in Kansas City tonight, so I'm taking under 9 for -115 at DraftKings. And our last bet of the day is a future bet. It's on the Masters. It's my boy Rory, my favorite golfer from Northern Ireland. Now, there's a bunch of things you can play around with here. I like Rory to win. I like Rory top 5. But for the sake of this, we're just going to take him to finish in the top 10 today, this weekend at the Masters, which I like very much. He's had good results this season. He's played in 6 events. He's won 1. He's finished runner-up once. He's finished in the top 10 3 times. He did weirdly miss the cut at the Players' Championship. He didn't play well there, but he won the first tournament of the year, the CJ Cup in South Carolina. He was 32nd at the Phoenix Open, 29th at the Genesis. He finished 2nd in the Arnold Palmer. And I just feel like we keep saying, is this his year? Is this his year? Last year was almost his year. He finished 2nd, but it was not his year. He shot a 64 in round 4 last year. And the 4th round has always sort of been his struggle. I think he's more motivated now than ever. He's in the prime of his career at 34 years old. He's got the added motivation of the Live Tour. Rory's tournament's going to go one of 2 ways. He's going to win or be right there, or he's going to miss the cut based on how his emotion goes. But he's played well at the Masters. 2022, he finished 2nd. 2020, 5th. 2018, 5th. 2017, 7th. 2016, 10th. 2015, 4th. 2014, 8th. He's finished in the top 10 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times since 2014. I think he's primed. I think this is the time. If there is no better time for that to be the case. So, like I said, I'm going to have props on him to win. I'm going to have some other props for the Masters as well. But Rory McIlroy to finish in the top 10 at -25 is my official bet for the squeeze. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to do. But that is your Wednesday card. I'm taking the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets under 6. That's -105 at DraftKings. Taking the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals under 9. That's -115 at DraftKings. And I'm taking Rory McIlroy to finish in the top 10 of the Masters this weekend, -125 at DraftKings. As always, drop a comment if you're fading or following. You can follow me on Twitter at Tyler Connium for more picks and props throughout the day, as well as the best Toronto bet. TikTok and Instagram for just the picks portions, and audio versions available on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Have a great Wednesday. Let's talk sports.